Hello, this is A View from the Bridge, official podcast of the Belfast Giants, for Kingdom of the Giants.com. Today is Tuesday, 27th of August 2024. It's episode 1 of season 20 of A View from the Bridge. My name is Patrick Smith. We're live on YouTube, Facebook. Thought we'd be live on Twitter because we got the premium account, but we're not live on Twitter tonight. So that might take another few days before that kicks in. But we're live on YouTube and on Facebook. You can also download us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all of your normal podcast providers. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook and you enjoy the show, like, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff would be brilliant. We really value your feedback on this week's show. Well, it's pre-season. We'll look back at those 2 pre-season games against Cardiff and Team GB. 9 goals scored and 2 conceded. We're joined by Jordan Kawaguchi and Adam Keefe. And we look ahead to 3 games this weekend. Alberta and Carlton come to town to add to the Giants' preparations. If you're watching live, get involved. Send us a message, YouTube and Facebook, and we got the live chat going on. We can see your comments, and we'll do our best to keep you involved in the show. And likewise, I'll be keeping an eye on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call it, and at AVFTB to join us there. Do you know what? Sometimes, I think, I'm always excited for hockey to come back. I am. Sometimes I think it should be wait until the 1st of September. It is still the summer, but it is what it is. David, how are you?
I'm all right, Paddy. Had better days, of course.
You've had better days, mate. You've had better days.
A hard one for the kids, as a hard one for myself. Lost my cat of 17 years. To say how long I've had that cat, Ed Courtney was our coach when Bones arrived in my house, and that's how long ago that is. And he's been a staple of my house for a long time, but it was just his time today to go. And
bless him.
That's
it. Yeah, that's a difficult one, mate. And how are the girls?
Big Bones. There he is.
There's Bones there he is. How are the girls?
Sleeping in the garden. They, tough for them. They're still young. Still really young. Been quite resilient. So,
let's talk. It's always difficult, mate. It's always difficult.
Says,
how are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm okay. I was telling Davy last night, Jasmine lost her dog on Saturday as well. So she's had it for 14 years.
Wow.
And she, to be honest, she was pretty tearful the other day, and she was just turned 20 yesterday. So it doesn't leave you, especially with the dogs. They're part of the family and the cats as well. She was feeling a wee bit tearful the other day as well, but she's okay now. So,
it was your birthday the other day as well.
Oh man, 20. I mean, I can't believe 20-year-old. Like, it's ridiculous. I mean, do you know what? I was talking. The next door neighbor's pregnant at the minute, and it's nothing to do with me. We were sitting chatting outside in the garden the other day, and she's due on the 26th, and obviously she's running a bit late now as well. So, we'll wait to see if we get the house soundproofed and see everything. Hopefully, we'll hear her bedroom would be, in the front of the house the same as ours, and hopefully it doesn't hear any noise because I don't like being interrupted when I'm sleeping. Like.
Oh dear. Well, the hockey's back, boys. Let's since we were last here, since we last had a podcast, what have we had? 29th of July, our guest Jordan Kawaguchi was signed, 27-year-old forward from British Columbia. A few days later, on the 2nd of August, Pierre-Olivier Morin, I'm going to go full on Morin, from Trois-Rivières in Quebec, became another signing to arrive from Aalborg, just like Bo Hansen. Speaking of bows, when the crowd say bow, Bobo Carpenter surprised many by joining straight from Kelly Cup champion Florida Everblades. But he was part of that BU team that played at the Friendship 4, and that brings us another top level addition to the Giants coming through the Friendship 4 connections. Some thought that would round out the team, but Petr Cech returned to the Belfast Giants as cover, signing on the 19th of August and being part of the side that faced Cardiff and GB at the weekend. Just quickly, gents, before we get to the games, a few comments. The team as it sits, and were there any real surprises in there?
No, it's a well constructed roster. It has a lot of balance in it, which I like. We'll probably talk more about it. I'd be more comfortable talking about it once we've watched the couple of highlight sections, because little bits and pieces. There wasn't much to take away. I don't know whether Simon agrees with that or not. At the end of the day, the games at the weekend were a little bit about just getting on the ice together, feeling each other out in game situations, and yes, Adam will take bits and pieces out of it, but quite unimportant in the overall scheme of things. More about getting minutes into the legs, and seen lots of things I really liked. I saw them live on Sunday. You saw them live on Saturday, Simon, and vice versa on Sunday. Were you kind of talking about the Belfast game? I watched it obviously live on video, but it's a wee bit, you get a bit of a different take when you see them eyes on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm obviously lucky enough to get them to watch them practice as well. I've seen a few comments during the summer and the kids coming out of college and stuff like that. That I didn't see anything when Joe Cassetti scored 2 on Sunday in a preseason game. Obviously, Zach Galambo's picked a bit of a niggle, so he was kept out for the meantime. And obviously, Scott Conway as well still got a bit of a niggle as well. So there's no point in taking chances at this time of the season. But last year, I think we learned that very, very quickly with regards injuries and just getting hit hard and being down guys very, very early on in the season. But I've been lucky enough to watch these guys all practice now for the last couple of weeks. And I was speaking to Mark Cooper today about it, and Coops actually came over to me and after I said, "How do you think the weekend went?" And he says, we've got a team. He says, we've got a team. So it's very, very early days. There's 2 preseason games. There was one of the Giants fans walking into the arena on Saturday, and they said, he says, it's important to get a big win tonight. And I said, no, it's not. I said, it's important to get through the game, healthy. I said, this is our first preseason game. It's all about getting ready. I seen him after the game, and he said, you could change your story now about, important to get the healthy. And I'm going, no. I says, yes, it's always good to win, no matter what game you play. But it's literally about getting guys ready to go here on the 7th of September.
Let's talk about those games. First of all, we had the game that was on Saturday. It was a 5-1 win for the Belfast Giants. The Cardiff goal coming from Hunter Shinkaruk, and the Giants goals coming from Max Stewart, opening the account for the Belfast Giants this season. Bobo Carpenter, Pierre-Olivier Morin, Kieran Long and Elijah Barriga getting a well-received goal at the SSE Arena to make it 5-1. Regards to the game on Sunday, we'll throw that in and we'll go through them all. But it was a 4-1 win for your Belfast Giants. Josh Waller with the only goal for Team GB. Whereas for the Giants, it was 2 goals for Cassetti, 1 for Cooper and another one for Morin. Let's go through these and because one of the things about preseason, and it's like you said, says it's not so much about the results, it's about how the team look and how the team gel. Davey, one of the things I took from the game on Saturday is we were playing a Cardiff Devils side who had a few games under their belt already. Pete Russell has had that team together for a while, and he was able to do game against GB, a few other games to sort of set up. And we were coming in, let's inverted commas, let's say cold. This is the first time that we were going up against the first time this team was playing together. It didn't look like it. Let's come out of it for a bit, and we'll talk about. Says, give it a shout. So, in regards to the Belfast goals, obviously, Mac comes up with the first one, and again, very well received. But overall, a lot of play. The opening goal came from Cardiff, obviously, and sort of you could see where that came from. Guys being dragged into the side, and the open man being able to score. But overall, the way that the Giants goals were worked, Max as well, and Barrigas as well, all really quite fluid.
Get to the front of the net and you'll get rewarded, and Carruth coughed up a couple of pucks that he should have had. Yes, it's early on, so long may that continue. But I thought the goal we gave up, I can't remember who it was that would turn the puck over on their end, and then we sort of all got, everybody was puck watching, and the 3 guys literally went to hit the one guy along the wall. He ends up winning that battle, coming away with the puck and throwing it out front, and Tom, who was really solid on Saturday night. He unfortunately just couldn't squeeze the pads to hold on to that first one. But then Mac, again, the kid's done really well in preseason. For somebody who lacks height and size, he doesn't lack any heart. The kid just goes to the net. He doesn't mind getting hit and pushed and cross-checked, and he just goes to the net, and he got rewarded, and it's great for him. It's great for his confidence, and I don't know if you heard from the arena, Davey, when you were watching the game, but it certainly was a lot of noise when they realized it was Max Stewart scored the goal, and obviously Bobo coming up with the game winner eventually, scoring that an important one just into the start of the third period was a big goal. So it's important that that we, again, to keep perspective, I've seen a lot of people getting carried away with beating Cardiff 5-1 in pre-season. Look, if we beat Cardiff 5-1 in the last game of the season, I'll be absolutely delighted. But it's all about just getting ready for the season, getting ready for the competitive games. Unfortunately, the one thing that was a bit of a downfall for us, not so much downfall, but was disappointing on Saturday night, was Caoch taking a puck to the head from a shot from the blue line. Thankfully, he's okay. He's feeling a bit better today. Hopefully, he's going to be back on the ice tomorrow morning. He's such a good lad, but he's got a bit of a lump at the side of his head. So, hopefully he's going to be okay moving forward. Because again, as soon as he went down, I'm sitting thinking, oh God, no, we can't have another season like last year. And I was speaking to him today and told him that. Hopefully, again, he's going to be an important player for us, Kyle Osterberg. So it was great to see him eventually get back up, get into practice this morning. There was a recovery day today, and he's really looking good this morning.
Some really, like, this is the first game of the season, or the first game of pre-season, Davy. So you're obviously just like looking to see, how things can gel. I thought Longer had a great game. To be fair, I thought Longer had an excellent game there. I thought a lot of guys looked like they were not mid-season form, but going, playing really, really well. And it's like Sis says, and I think it's not so much of celebrating the win, but drawing the positives from what you saw in the game against Cardiff.
Yeah, as I said just before the highlights came on there, I like the balance that we had. Sort of, we could strengthen Dave, we could strength up front, body size, very seal the points off really well when teams are trying to rim the balls. It's Griffin Reinhardt. It's really, since Griffin, we haven't had that consistency of trapping the puck at the half walls at the blue line. Really impressed with how we did that at the weekend. We transitioned fast, which was great. We picked pucks up and turned them over. Lots of that last, maybe the fourth goal, the heads up play from Josh Roach, just a skating backwards, head up the whole time, releases someone who's going that way. So there's a whole lot of positives. Yeah, as we said at the very start of the piece, it's about coming through those two games healthy, getting minutes in the legs, and letting the boys under a game night pressure, and as much pressure as there is in two exhibition games, learning to play with each other under the pressure of not training. So it was a good weekend for us, I thought. Listen, as Simon said before the start, the score is not important, but knocking 5 past Carruth and knocking 4 past Ben Bounds is always good to have in the bank, going on later in the season.
What about that game? You were in the Calbon Arena on Sunday, mate, for the game against GB. Obviously, Team GB warming up for the Olympic qualifiers in Denmark this week. And basically, the warm-up game against Cardiff and warm-up game against us, and didn't fare well in either of them. But putting Team GB to the side, how did we look?
I'll not park Team GB for now. I'll go on Team GB first, because it obviously have some, affinity for Team GB. Missing a lot of their top players, especially at the back end. And we'll talk about Belfast Giants have passed Sammy Rupp, obviously at the back end, missing for them. Another couple of guys out on the back end. Their best player, on Sunday night for me was Ben Lake. Simon said that'll be no surprise to Simon. I was texting during the said Lakers really, really strong here tonight. And I have that little bit of extra niggle. I think Gabe Bast, him and I can't remember. I think I texted at the time. Simon, they were, throwing into each other really, really well and having a smile and laugh about it. And I think Laker got called for a penalty just when they were messing with each other, kind of thing, as happens sometimes too. But Team GB, it's probably not the ideal scenario for them playing so early into September, with having guys stretched right across Europe trying to get into their own club teams and get minutes under their belt for their club teams, and then having to go away and play in the GB program. It's going to be difficult for them this week. They start on Thursday, I think, against Denmark. It's going to be a really difficult qualification process for them. But like Jackson Whistle looked really, really sharp between the pipes for Belfast. Quite honestly, didn't see the game GB and Cardiff. Turns out it was a bit of a round robin, GB and Cardiff and Belfast, and we've came out on top of that little 3-game series, which is great. And much like Saturday night, Paddy, just the positives to take away, very, very similar. I thought in all 3 zones, I thought we controlled most of the game. Thought we were unlucky probably not to be in the lead, if not by more than 1 goal at the end of the first period. I thought we controlled pretty much the second period as well. We obviously got the goals, and then the third period, they threw one back towards the end, and we were able to go and score a fourth with a bit of a bad bounce. But Joe Cassetti, there for me, what the real high spot, I guess, was seeing JJ picking its back. Some of the passing that he can come up with, especially for Joe's first goal. I think it's Mishmash picks it off the wall. Elijah Bariga and Mishmash have a little 1-2. We pass off the back wall. Mishmash drops it to pick. And it's the one time, no sort of look. He just knows that Joe Cassetti's going to be coming back post there, down on one knee to slam it home to put his 1-0 up. Really beautiful goal. And I just thought we controlled the game pretty much from start to finish on Sunday night. A real consummate performance. But again, an understrength GB, and you have to caveat that, I think.
Says your thoughts on the game against GB before we move to welcome our guest.
Again, I think Davy sort of put it down to a T. GB weren't at their best. I mean, Liam Kirk was playing for Iceberg Berlin on Sunday night, and pretty sure he scored 2 goals.
He started well there.
Yeah, he's their best player, and you know what? GB have got a really tough fast this week. I mean, I was looking at Denmark's squad. Freddie Anderson's in net. Lars Eller's up front. Nicholas Ehlers is playing in the back end. Those guys in the top three. The top 3 players in the Denmark team, and they're now playing, just getting ready for NHL season. It's going to be very, very difficult for them. But regarding the Giants, I thought we just controlled the game. I thought the game management was very good. Adam was talking about today about guys getting how many minutes they were getting, and we've 3 really good lines. When when we get Collins back, Collins, Mishmash, and Pick, and Davy's talking about JJ Pickenich. Mismatch as a player. Believe you me, this kid's got it. Obviously, we've got Jordan coming on now, and I don't want to blow his trumpet too much now, but he's so smart and really good player. He made a great pass across for Bobo's goal Moran's goal on Saturday evening. P.O., Bobo and Jordan are going to cause teams problems this year. And then when you look at the third line, you've got Osterberg, Ben Lake, and Mark Cooper. All going at each other. We know how strong Mark Cooper and Ben Lake play. It doesn't matter who they're playing on the wing with them. Those 2 are going to cause heartache for a lot of teams this year. So it's all about staying healthy and getting preparation right with regards to getting ready for the first weekend of the season. So the first weekend's done. We won 2 games. That's fine. But again, coming through it relatively unscathed is the most important part of it.
I think it was a good preseason. Well, of course it was. It was 9 goals scored, 2 goals conceded. Very, very positive. And as we go into, we'll talk about the games this weekend later on. But all around excellent from the Giants and a good start to preseason. Right, gents, let's bring in our first guest. He hails from British Columbia. He's a centreman, 27-year-old centreman with a glittering career in the NCAA and a great time in the ECHL as well. It's Jordan. Jordan, welcome to View from the Bridge.
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. How are you?
Pretty good.
So give us your take on the weekend. And obviously 2 good games for the Belfast Giants, lots of goals scored, but some great play and good to get those lines gelled.
Yeah. Obviously going into 2 games back to back like that where we're playing at home and then got to go to Cardiff. We knew that Sunday game was going to be a little bit of a grind, just with the travel and lack of sleep, whatever it was. But obviously our first 2 games, not everyone's in game shape. So, but it's a good learning experience. And, I thought, like you guys were saying earlier, I thought we carried the pace and controlled the play for the most part in both games. But obviously, Team GB didn't have all their players, but at the same time, for us, you never want to go into a game and think, oh, like if we throw this one away, it's fine. You as a hockey player, you want to win every game you play. So
Absolutely. Do us a favor, turn your phone 90 degrees. Doing so that should pop up that way. Is it? Nope.
When we all
Oh,
sit
you
like
put it
this.
back. Yeah.
you want this way?
You must have the
There
there
we
you
go.
go.
That's it. How you been finding Belfast, mate? Obviously, it's been a few weeks in camp, and obviously these games. But it's how you been finding the city, and what's met you in your arrival?
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. Obviously, it rains at any point it wants.
Yeah,
has its own mind in terms of weather. The first week here, we didn't really have a whole lot of time to explore, but this last week, going to the Mourns and just kind of doing some things around town and just being able to see the city really. It's a pretty cool little town and some great pubs here and it's been cool to kind of check everything out.
Jordan, obviously the weekend we play a lot of home and away games. We play home on a Saturday night or Friday night, away on a Sunday. You got the first taste of the early morning starts. Did you say we flight into Cardiff and then an early morning back on Monday? Is that going to acclimatize you a little? You know what to expect in the weeks ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like I said earlier, doing that for the first time, we knew that it was going to be a grind, especially not having our legs undressed. But kind of having that experience in preseason here is going to help us, down the road here when the real games start, and you'll understand how to handle it a little bit better. And as the season goes on, you'll get you get your routine down a little bit more and understand what you got to do.
Jordan, Simon Kitchen, big fan. The with regards to the chemistry on the ice, yes, it's only 2 games then. Yes, you've only practiced for 2 weeks. You've been playing with Bobo and PO. How's that chemistry coming about? Because it looked like you guys know when you've got 3 smart players playing together, it makes it an awful lot easier.
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, having 2 weeks to practice with each other and just kind of get that chemistry going. It helps a lot. But yeah, I mean, PO is a responsible guy. He's a smart hockey player, and Bo is a smart hockey player, and he can shoot the puck. So it's fun to play with those guys, and to be able to play with those two, it's been great.
Look, I want to take it back to your college days and a teammate called Gabe Bast. Obviously Basty's told us quite a bit about you and Miss Mash as well. And what's your memories of playing for North Dakota?
Yeah, some of my memories, obviously, there's some off ice stuff that Gabe and Grant and I, have good memories from. But on the ice, like just being able to, produce like we did our last 2 years there, and win conference championships, and really have those memories and create those memories with everyone on the team. We've had our class alone that played on the team has had, I think, 4 weddings the last 2 years. So we've all been at all the weddings, and when we get back together, it's like we never left college. So some of the memories are amazing, and like I said, the conference championships are definitely up there.
And Jordan, does that make the decision to maybe come across the Atlantic, to Northern Ireland, into Europe to play hockey a bit easier when you've got that comfort that you've got some buddies in the locker room already?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a big thing for me. Talking to some other teams, just maybe knowing a couple guys or playing a couple against a couple guys throughout my career, but that kind of thing just helps and makes the decision easy like that, because Grant and I, we played together on a line for 2 or 3 years. We were roommates as well. Gabe and I were roommates. We were all roommates for 3 out of 4 years. Like when you know guys like that and have stories with each other, and obviously Gabe played here a couple of years ago and knew a bunch of guys, so having that connection, it makes everything easier. And I'm someone that gets homesick pretty easily as well, so having the people that you're familiar with helps with that a lot too. So yeah, it's definitely made a very easy transition.
So when Steve Thornton or Adam Keefe came knocking on your door, I guess the one thing you do is you go out there and you speak to the guys who have maybe made that jump to Europe, and you
Yeah,
get that sort of information. Make sure that you're going into the right place.
yeah. So out of the three of us that went to school together, I was the last one to sign here, but I heard Grant had signed after Gabe, and then kind of had to start talking to Keith. And the first question I asked Gabe was, how like what's Belfast like? He goes, you won't hate it for a second. It'll be the best place you'll ever play besides North Dakota. So that was a pretty big statement for me. And like I said earlier, playing with two guys that I've played with before and been roommates with, was a huge factor in that as well.
What's training camp been like? How's getting ready? Obviously, it was probably good to get onto the ice at the weekend and get those games under your belt. But settling down, finding ways, and getting in with the rest of the lads. How's it been the last couple of weeks?
It's been good. Yeah, like just going through all the fitness testing and climbing the moorings. Everyone's kind of been grinding a little bit, and you have a little bit more to talk to each other about, and everyone can relate. So, the group is just a lot of good guys, and we all have one goal, and we all enjoy, playing hockey as much as the next. So, it's been really good. Camp's been, like I said, it was a little bit of a grind, but it was good. And Keith said like he wants to put us through hard stuff early so that once we get through camp and get into the season, the hard things don't seem as hard, and we know how to deal with it a little bit better. So that's been very good for us, and I feel like we've handled it pretty good.
Jordan, where you are right now, obviously you played at the SS Arena on Saturday evening. You've had a couple of practices there as well. But back in North America, did you ever make the move onto the big ice, the European size and the international size ice? And if you did, how did you find it on Saturday night?
Yeah. I mean, throughout kind of just growing up and even college, there's a few teams that still had Olympic size when I was in college. So you get to play not once in a while. Most of the time it's NHL size, but making the jump over here and playing the first game on Saturday night, you kind of you have half second more of room and time and space. And as an offensive guy, you like that because you can make that extra play or get your head up for half a second more and make a better play than you initially thought. So I enjoy it a lot. I know once the season gets going and teams are dialed in on their systems and stuff, the time and space might go down a little bit, but for preseason anyways, it's nice to have that time and space just to kind of get back into the playing mode and that kind of thing. So.
And what did you think about the crowd on Saturday night? Obviously, everybody. I know Basti was telling you about what they expect from the crowd side of things, but over 5,500 in for a challenge game at the start of the year.
Yeah, amazing. They were awesome. We were talking before the game, like, we didn't really know what it was going to be like, especially between the new guys, but obviously, the fan support here is unbelievable. And, to have, I think you said 5,500, like it's amazing, especially for, a friendly match. So it's awesome.
No such thing as a friendly. No such thing as a friendly. That's Billy Caskey. He'll tell you that.
And long may those crowds continue. You know, they've been getting better and better, and like you say, he says to see that coming in for what was basically an exhibition game or a preseason game was remarkable. I know a few people have been knowing about that. Just shows you what a draw the Belfast Giants have been for the last number of seasons, and long may that continue. Jordan, listen, we really appreciate you joining us, and good luck for the rest of the season. No doubt we'll get you back on. We'll have a chat through the season, see how you're getting on.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Here's Coach.
Cheers.
Big thanks to Jordan for joining us. Nice guy. I didn't even get on to the fact, isn't his cousin Davy and Simon played for the San Jose Sharks? Yeah, so a bit of a hockey stock there, but dead nice guy. And I thought, like I say, I thought there were so many players at the weekend that sort of had showed the start of what they could do, and he was definitely one of them.
And I think that's a great point. When you look at over the weekend itself, all you want to see and obviously from a coaching point of view, Adam just wants to see guys getting fit and getting ready, and preparation's key. You can go right the whole way through the lineup. You got the kids that come in Rose Mitchell-King from Telford.
Yeah,
he did not look out of place. I thought he played out 2 really good games the weekend. Max Stewart, Carter Hamill played very well. You look at the back end again, Roche and Balmer playing together. Fantastic. You've got Bo Hansen and Gabe Bass playing together. Thought they had a steady weekend as well, and Bo's going to be a big player in this league, believe you me. And again up front, you've got guys there who when you look at what we had, and we've still got to add Ben Lake and Scott Conway to that those lineups up front. Again, it's all about getting ready and getting prepared and hopefully staying fit. That's the big key for us this year for sure.
Absolutely. Listen, let's speak to the man who put this all together, a man who's going to be hoping to regain the 3 trophies that he won just a season before last. Please welcome back to the View from the Bridge. Always delighted to have him on. The coach, Adam Keefe. How you doing, mate?
Not bad, boys. How's it going?
Good. How's your summer been?
We had summer here?
Yeah. Well, nobody's had summer, mate.
Yeah, no, it was all right. It was good. Away a couple times, spent some time with the family, and here we are back at it again.
So, how happy are you? How happy with what you saw at the weekend?
Yeah, very happy. I thought it was a solid weekend from the guys. I thought everybody, the cliche of pulling the rope, I thought everybody played their part this weekend. Obviously, we weren't perfect, but that's a good thing because there's a lot of room to grow. But I thought that controlled the run of play, outside of maybe the first period against Cardiff. I thought the first period against Cardiff, we were struggling to kind of break through, and then the guys kind of stuck with it, found their legs, and through the second and third period took over that game and got rewarded in a big way in the third period.
You see, obviously, you've researched these guys, you've put together the team as you see fit, and then you start to put them out onto the ice. How difficult is it to find the chemistry in the matchups? You obviously would chop and change. You'll see them in training camp, but ultimately, it's you and your coaching team will have to say this guy.
Yeah, I mean the chemistry it's still been difficult because we already have a few niggles here and there, and guys obviously not playing, and obviously with GB going on. It does kind of make things difficult to find that chemistry, but we're doing our best with what we've got right now, and I think there's some early signs of some chemistry, and that's going to continue to build and grow, and hopefully we don't need to change too much once we get going.
Coach, I don't want to be condescending and call them young lads because everybody on the roster is a young lad compared to me now, but when you look at Carter, Mac, Finlay, Rhodes over the weekend, they're all away probably now. I don't know whether they are or not, or back to their home teams, if you want to call it that. Yeah, happy enough with how those 4 guys performed over the weekend?
Yeah, very actually. I thought they all had like I said, I thought they all played their part. I thought they were all a big part of those wins, and helped us massively. You look at we go down a couple guys, we lose Laker, obviously to GB, and Osterberg, Conway and Glenn both not playing. We would have been pretty short there, and then that's when you all of a sudden maybe one injury or one niggle turns into 2 or 3, and you're starting the season short. So I thought those guys did a great job for us, and not only did a good job, but they thought they were very solid, reliable. Good things for us to see, and good experience for them. And obviously when we're looking to draw on guys for the future, that helps eliminate some of the question marks that we did have.
Adam, training camp this year, you managed to get 2 full weeks before you managed to get into the games. Last year, it was well documented that you were straight in for 3 or 4 days, and then you had the trip to Finland. How's training camp gone for you? And obviously building the with the ice not being available every day and throwing in the trip up the Mourns. How's the 10 days or 12 days of training camp gone?
Yeah, I think it's been great. Obviously, the kind of the theme this year was going through some hard things together as a group, that when the adversity does hit us in the season, and it will, we want to know that we've been there before. And I don't think that the trek up the Mourns certainly achieved that, and I think the guys will draw on that. That they've been through that and got to the top and down, and then realized, as difficult as it was on the way up, everybody's still breathing and walking the next day or a few hours later, right? So, it's just difficult in the moment, and we just got to keep pushing through and break through it. And I thought the guys did a great job, and everybody handled those things very well. No complaining, just got it done and did it together. So it was good positive signs throughout those first 2 weeks, and obviously they followed it up with a big weekend to end that. Now yesterday and today were more a little bit about recovery and making sure that we're now kind of healing the guys up, because I know there were some banged up bodies from not just the hockey, but obviously trekking up a mountain is tough on the legs as well.
This weekend, Canadian University are coming. Well, 2 of them, Alberta and Cardiff from Ottawa. What sort of challenge are you expecting from these 2 colleges coming over?
Well, I think you've seen last week in there with it. I think it's UQTR, Quebec Trois-Rivières, against Nottingham and Manchester coming out with the win. You're up against a lot of guys that are eager to prove themselves, that want to play professional hockey after. And if you don't go in with that same type of compete level and intensity, you're going to be in for a tough game. That's for sure. You look at the guys across the board. We have a few that have come out of U Sports, and there's a lot in the league that have come out and been really prominent people in this league. So, I mean, it's a very good league. There's going to be a lot of good players that come from it. And it's a great opportunity for the University of Alberta and University of Carleton to see Belfast, the arena, the setup as well. So it's another recruitment tool for us in the future. But we'll be expecting their best, and we just need to take care of our game, and we should be okay.
You're right. Like Tyler Soy, Steve Ari, both products of the Alberta system, weren't they? And you say about it being another tool in our army. Let's have a quick word about the Friendship Four. And I mentioned earlier in the show, the likes of Bobo Carpenter played for BU in the Friendship Four. Again, it remains a great means for recruitment for you, for Steve, for the Belfast Giants.
Yeah, I've always said I never really understood it as a player from that standpoint, but now I certainly get it. I think that one of the first guys that we returned was Darcy Murphy. And then you think about the countless names that have come through that have, the Friendship Four plays a massive part in that, because it eliminates those question marks for those guys. And Bobo is a perfect example of that. When I was speaking to him, he loved his time here in the Friendship Four, and so because of that, you eliminate all those what ifs that he might be thinking, because he's been here before, he's experienced it. So things developed pretty quickly with Bobo. When we started to speak to him, probably because he was well aware of where he was going, and that's when you talk about coming to Europe and for the first time for a player, it is a little bit. Not a concern, but you want to make sure you're going to a good place. You hear a lot of horror stories in Europe. Certainly, we're very lucky that Belfast is not one of them places.
To add to that, then, we're listening to Jordan Kawaguchi, and he's talking about chatting to Kate Bast and whatever, and Bast saying, like, go to Belfast, you'll not regret it. It'll be the best place you ever play hockey. That must be, it gives me a great sense of pride as a Belfast man, but it must give you, pride in the culture that you've built around the club, that players go away and tell their mates, come here, this is the place you want to play hockey.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure exactly how many, as you guys like to call them, blow-ins are here, but I'm living proof. Jeff Mason, George Owada, Rob Stewart, guys come here and they don't just come here to play, they come here and stay. And that's a testament to the city, the organization, the fan base, everything about it, and just the overall experience that you have here when playing. Obviously, the arena plays its part as well. It's a great arena. The Odyssey Trust takes great care of us. The fan base is growing immensely. But there's also the fact that the city's great. The players certainly have a good time in the city, and I'm well aware of that, and I lived that life for a while. So,
did you?
It's all about the city. The setup here is great, and we want to keep making it better and better. But we also want to make sure we're winning. Right now, we say to the guys, you can have fun off the ice, but when you come to the rink, it's time to clock in, and we're here to win, and that's got to be always number one on everybody's mind. And and a lot of the times when you're recruiting, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for winners, winners. And you look at the guys that have come through, Bobo winning the ECHL title there just not too long ago, probably a little over 2 months ago. So he didn't even get much of a summer. He's right back here, raring to go. And obviously, P.O. Moran coming from Aalborg, who's had great success and been in the Champions League for the last few years. And, I know the coach personally there, and, he had amazing things to say about P.O. So, like, the guys that we're bringing in here are great people that want to win. And it's exactly what we want and what we were looking for throughout the summer. So we're really excited to get going into the meaningful games and come up against some of that adversity in those hard times and watch these guys push through it.
It was mentioned earlier on about, on the last time we had a podcast, it was more or less focused on the two-way players and the guys that we brought in. We brought in more two-way players this season than we have in any season. What are you hoping to get from them, and what do you think they're hoping to get from us?
Well, I think they're hoping to get experience and at this level, and to improve their game, right? And I think that when you come here and you see how serious we take winning, if you're not on that level, you certainly realize sometimes that, okay, I better get in line, right, and start pulling the rope. And I think it's great for these guys to see that and experience it when they play. I think that it's only going to make them better as they age. But for us, we get a good group of lads that we can draw from time to time. That's going to help our depth. And we all know that in this league, injuries can play a massive part. So when they do come for us, we wanted to make sure that we're covered as much as possible. And, that is the reason for the amount of two ways and also the multiple teams to try and cover all bases for us. But I thought, so far we really liked all the guys. I thought they've all played a big part. We get Kellen Mason coming back to play on Friday, so we'll get a good look at Kel Beatty and Mason Alderson on Friday as well. So they're going to come back and help us out.
And lastly, obviously, with regards to these two ways, ultimately, they may want to play, elite league, get a contract, and then onwards to Team GB. And I'm a big Team GB guy, as you know, Coach. But they've got we've got the games coming up against Denmark, Norway, and Japan, and in the Olympic qualifiers. These are big games, especially for that program, because Team GB have played at the top level. You've been part of that setup. What do you think these guys are expecting from this weekend in Denmark?
Well, I think they're expecting a big battle. Number one, I mean, you got all the NHL stars for Denmark and Norway. They'll be playing. So but the experience that the GB national team has had at the top level world championships, playing against the NHL players that they have already, and having some success there, I think that they can draw on that and have that have that belief, and that's what they've got to have, right? Because that's one thing that I've learned from being part of that coaching process with GB is, they lay it on the line when they go to those tournaments. They block shots, they fight for their lives there, and ultimately, they've done some great things. I think that nobody ever thought. I think when I first joined, they were in the tier below, but I think for years before that, they were in the tier before that one. And I don't think anybody really thought that within 2 years they'd be at the level they were. And I still remember that one. It's probably my favorite tournament with them was the one in Hungary when they did get through. And then, to be completely honest, I wasn't even really aware or didn't really have an understanding of what that meant to those guys and those players and everybody who's been battling all those different tiers for so many years through all the age groups. Pete Russell's been with those guys since they were kids. And I think that you really get a sense of that family vibe that they have. And that's why they win. That's why they compete. That's why they've stayed up and went down and come back up. And, so the Olympics, when you're talking about the Olympics, yeah, it's going to be a massive challenge, but I believe that they have the belief in that group that, they can do the impossible, and it's all about ultimately just taking steps towards it. And, they want to be as successful as possible in this tournament this weekend.
And last question for me before we let you go is, how happy are you with regards to what this team have got going into this season?
Yeah, very happy. Like I said, it was a great summer recruitment. Started off by Steve Thornton, locking down Gabe Bass, JJ Picnich, and Scott Conway. I think we couldn't have gotten off to a better start with players that we are very familiar with, and we're very familiar that they've had great success in this league and won trophies. I think that you couldn't have asked for a better start to the summer. And then we just felt that throughout the summer, when the player became available that we wanted, we felt like we got him, and that was exciting. That it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes you lose a lot of players to other leagues or teams within this league. And this year we were really pleased with all the guys that we've gotten. Now it's about putting it all together on the ice, right? And that's two different things. So but so far everything's been great. Like I said, great signs this week, and I was really happy for the guys because they've put in 2 weeks of hard work to get rewarded at the weekend and get rewarded in a good way. They conceded 2 goals, held both teams to under 25 shots against per night. Things that I'm looking for mid-season. We got this in our first weekend as a group, and usually in your first weekend, it's a lot more sloppy, and I thought they were pretty good. That's a sign of some smart hockey sense and some smart hockey players out there. So it's a good sign of things to come.
So can't add anything to that. I think that some real positive signs from the weekend, some real positive signs from a lot of the players that are out there, and like you say, there are still players to come into that side, and so we could have hopefully have an exciting season ahead. Coach, really appreciate your time as always, and for coming on and chatting with us, and no doubt we'll chat again as the season goes on. No
problem, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, Nate. Big thanks to Adam Keefe for his time and joining us. And they say you can only draw so much from preseason games. You only draw so much from the performances that you have. But Davy, again, the positives are there. The team, still has a couple of players to add, and I guess we'll see more of it this weekend.
Yeah, they've got the guys they wanted in. Now training camps, coming towards the end. Another couple of weeks we'll be in the season. So about adding, the culture that Adam talked about there is to be a Belfast Giant, and that whenever the season starts, that those guys buy into the process that they've put in place, and good things will happen if they do.
And says, as I mentioned, their Team GB are playing this weekend in the Olympic qualifiers to go to Milan, Milan Cortina in 2026. They're up against Denmark on Thursday. They're up against Norway on Friday, and so Norway on Friday, and then Japan on Sunday. Now, tough games, really tough games for them, and the NHL is coming back into some of those setups. But the ultimate prize of playing in the Olympics arguably is a greater one than the World Championships.
Yeah, I mean, to go the whole way for the rest of your life saying that you're Olympian must be an unbelievable achievement. I mean, when you look at the athletes that have come back from the Olympics this year, both for Great Britain and Ireland, both and who have come from Northern Ireland, it's just absolutely amazing. I mean, young Reece McLennan, he lives a couple of minutes away from here, and he won a gold medal, and to see him coming down in the crowd that turned up last Friday night, down in Newton Ards itself for him was just amazing. And again, to go away from that. And I mean, I was lucky enough to play in the World Championships for Ireland at that level. And it was great crack, and the boys we played with will never forget it. But to say that you're Olympian must be something special, and means you can go out and get one of those wee 5-ring tattoos, which I would have killed for at one point. But
100%.
Absolutely.
I'm literally not a tattoo person. I don't have any tattoos. I don't think I ever will. But the idea, that's exactly one that I would get.
Yeah.
Had I, if you did, that sort of thing, to compete at that sort of level, and as you say, you've got players to come into that GB side like Liam Kirk and stuff who might push them on. Davy, your thoughts on it?
I actually had the opportunity to go to the Olympics when I was in my teens, but I just wasn't good enough. Yeah, I wasn't good enough. Didn't work out.
What was your sport? So close.
Is Co playing for Japan, by the way? He says, do you keep in touch?
I was thinking about that. No.
Right, okay. I'm sure he'd be disappointed in that. It would be nice to see him, up against GB. It gives you a little bit of added interest in the game. Look, I wish the boys all the best. It would be amazing for them on a personal level, for their families, for what they've achieved in the sport. But I think it would also be, we talk about hockey in the UK being this best kept secret. Until we get to the Olympics, it's probably, that would put them on a different level. Nobody, with the greatest respect, it's not on BBC, the World Championships. You don't get to see the games unless you were to go and look for them. They're not heavily advertised and whatever. GB are playing Olympic ice hockey against Canada or USA or whoever. It's on BBC, it's on prime time, and it elevates the game to, these guys are playing in the UK. The guys that are playing here are now playing in the UK as well. This game's out there, and it's not a secret. It shouldn't be a secret anyway. It's our passion. So, I wish them all the best. It's going to be a very, very difficult weekend for them. Not do anything but just give it their all and leave it on the ice and see what happens.
And then bringing it back to the Belfast Giants, obviously this weekend we've got there are 3 games at the SSE Arena, 2 games involving the Giants. On Friday at 7 p.m. is Belfast Giants against Mark Cavlin's Carlton Ravens. Obviously the former Belfast Giant, in fact the first Belfast Giant, if I'm correct, the first one who was ever signed for the Belfast Giants, and Mark Cavlin.
I believe that's true.
Yeah, yep. And he's coaching that. He's bringing his Carlton Ravens team back to what he knows as the Odyssey, but to the SSE Arena, 7 p.m. On Saturday.
Has he got a kid in? Not the
organization. He's in the Marley. He's the goalkeeper.
He's in Marley's organization.
Another goalie.
Very, very good.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe another Calvin coming our way at some point.
Maybe.
Unless he was on to bigger and better things. Is there bigger and better things?
There isn't.
Yes, I don't think so. Alberta Golden Bears are also here, and they'll be taking on Carlton on Saturday at 7 p.m. at the SSE. And then on Sunday, the Belfast Giants will take on Alberta themselves. Obviously, as I said earlier, Tyler Soy, Steve Array, both products of the Alberta setup. The U Sports setup has been as useful for the Belfast Giants, Davy, as the NCAA.
Yeah, it's been a recruiting ground over the last number of years, not just for, I think Adam references as well, not just for the Belfast Giants, but right across the EISL. Some good players coming out of it. And this will be 2 difficult enough games for the boy if they're not ready to go when the puck drops here, it could be an embarrassing night. They've obviously came to the UK already, got results. So, just as Adam said, it's about he's seen things that he likes there already. Number of shots conceded, non-sloppy plays. I thought we played really well in our own defensive zone on Sunday night, especially at the very start of the piece. It's easier to watch it in real life than it is on video. I thought we chipped it off the walls really well. We made smart plays up the walls. We cleared our zone very quickly. So all that stuff bears well. These kids will come with a lot of speed. So, I think our top 4 D pairings there, the top 2 D pairings, were played really, really well over the weekend. Really, really strong, especially in our own zone, but transitioning forward as well. Sometimes first man in, which I like to see as a spectator. I like to see the D man, the Shane Johnson mold of one that can carry the puck. So, there's those players are on our team as well. And at the same time, I saw a lot of potential plays breaking down and somebody was minding the shop, which I love to see as well. Josh Roach just patrolling backwards when he needs to, goes forward when he needs to. Bo Hansen as well, as I said at the very start, sealing the walls off. Really, really, really strong performance. I really like the weekend. So I'm excited. Yeah. I get a wee bit too excited, but I'm excited for the weekend to come.
I was just that, and you're absolutely right. Like watching, saw that on Saturday. Defensively, I thought I was saying. My wife came in while I was watching. She was like, "How was it going?" I said, "I thought defensively we were looking really, really strong, which at this stage is excellent." Says, "What do you?" Obviously, we said this. These are preseason games. It's not so much about wins. It's about performances. It's about gelling. It's about getting this team ready to face Dundee the weekend after.
Yeah, again, it's preparation. It's literally just getting things ready and again, obviously, the next one up is Cardiff on Friday. Cardiff fly in on Friday morning, and then they're playing Friday night. So it's, but they're a young group. So, when you get that age, they'll all just be adrenaline, be pumping through them and they're ready to go. And I was talking to Glover about this today. Last time I brought a U Sports team in was Manitoba.
Yeah.
And they were very, very physical. We
I remember that game
earlier on. So, and they've got the face cages on. They've nothing to fear. Just go out there and hit hard and play. And this is what you're going to expect this weekend. So, I've no doubt Adam and the Mason, George, and Stu will have these guys ready to go. So, first up on Friday night, Cardiff, 7:00 at the arena. As I say, there is tickets left. So, but look, see if you're a hockey fan, it's 3 games in 3 days. After 4.5 months off. And if you can get to the game on Saturday between Cardiff and University of Alberta, come down. It's a tenner.
That'll be an exciting game to watch.
See, to be honest with you, it's one of the games that I'm looking. Well, it's sort of when it doesn't involve our team, because we obviously want our team to win every single time, and we haven't an even more invested interest in it now from an internal point of view. It's a game that I can sit back and relax and don't have to do anything. Well, don't tell Steve Thornton that because he'll still want me working. But it's literally just I can sit back and not have any worries from what's happening on the ice. Yes. So I'm actually really looking forward to it because there's some of these kids can really, really play, and you just never know. You might be watching another Belfast Giant coming from a young age, getting up and ready, and then you never know he's going to end up here.
Absolutely. So I said, as you say, it says 7 p.m. on Friday. The Mark Cavalins's Carlton Ravens are in the arena to take on the Belfast Giants. You've got that Alberta against Carlton game on Saturday at 7 p.m. and then Belfast against Alberta on Sunday on 4 p.m. All those games down at the SSE Arena and also should be available on Giants TV, which, Mr. Kitchen, you were not part of at the weekend. There's a new voice behind the mic.
Well, you see, I can't see the puck yet. I'm still having problems with my eyes, and I was actually I was down at the opticians yesterday. Hopefully, I get more surgery here in September, but I just can't see the puck, mate. It's literally the game moves very, very fast, and in fairness, I can't actually see the numbers in the jerseys either. So, a bit of a challenge, but hopefully, it'll come back. But I've got a new guy on board this year called Stephen Boucher. And also we're going to have another guy called Mark Strange, and then Marty's going to chip in. Going to have a few ex-players coming along. I will be doing certain games throughout the season, but right now it's important that we're looking after and maintaining relationships we'll have with sponsors and partners, and when they're coming along to the games, it's sort of with me having to do the commentary and not getting a chance to go around and spend a bit of time with them. You don't have to spend much time with them, but it's always nice to try and have continue to build those relationships, because we've talked about this before. Our partners are vitally important to us. What are you two smirking at?
I'm smirking at says when I do the commentary with you and the hooter goes at the end of the period, you're like, right, I'll be back in 15 minutes. And the puck's about to drop and you come in, ready, let's go. You know, it's mad the effort levels you're putting
He's off
in
the
there.
toilet, mate. Sometimes it takes time.
No, I've got one of them wee bags strapped to my leg for the toilet. I haven't got time to go, for goodness sake.
Come on.
But, it's literally, it is, but Davy's right. Like, it literally is, you know, I've got 17 minutes to get out and get around as many people as possible and just, you know, say thank you. And it's an important part of it. You know, we've had a lot of long-term partners. When you look at the likes of Harry Carey, Stanaline, Phonacab, you know, locked in have been our partner for a long time. And then this year we've brought on a few new ones, and the likes of SendMyBag.com are going to be a big part over the next few years.
I used them in the summer. They were great.
How did you find them? Because my brother used them as well last week. He said they were brilliant.
I was in Port Stewart. We usually spend like a week in Port Stewart in the summer, and we didn't have room for my golf club, so I sent my golf clubs with them, and they were great. Yeah, fantastic. It was quick, efficient, and
I use
cheap
them
enough.
every Christmas when I'm coming home.
Yeah. It's definitely the thing about it is not a lot of people know this, but they're a Bangor-based company.
Bangor,
and they transport worldwide. So, you know, get on the SendMyBag.com, give them a wee shout out, and spread the love for it. So, but look, I'm really looking forward to this season. And with every sign that we've made this summer, you know, again, you sort of see that little addition to the squad. And Adam and Steve continue to say about those 1%. If we can get better by 1% in everything we do every single year, then we're on the right path. So I think that's going to be the case this year, and I'm looking forward to another great season as a Belfast Giants fan.
I thought, you know, to give due to it was Stephen Boucher was his name, the fellow who was commentating the weekend. Thought he did a good job. Obviously first time out, you know, and I think he'll bet into it. But I thought overall him and Marty were a good team and did really well. So fair play.
I had to ask him.
It's a different play by play is not for me, and it's like it's so difficult. Like you do it so well, and to do it and to be able to do it really well takes a bit of practice, and no doubt that's what we'll have.
It does, you know. It's the game moves so fast, and I don't really like talking about pizzas and Chinese and stuff like that during the game. I'd rather talk about what's happening on the ice. But it does move so fast, and you know, Stephen, I didn't get the opportunity to listen to him the other night because there was an issue with the audio recording, so it didn't record properly. I watched the game back with no noise, which is probably what I would do when I'm commentating myself, so I don't have to listen to this bloody accent. But no, look, we're looking forward to getting a lot of people involved, because it's important that we try and just improve everything we're doing. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Any other business, boys, during the season?
I had something Laura asked me to say and I forgot it. Davy, go ahead.
Oh, you're going to be in so much trouble.
I know, I better look at the text.
I don't have anything.
You don't have anything?
Just welcome back, I guess. What's this, season 20 or something, Paddy? Something mental?
The 20th season of A View from the Bridge, mate. The 25th season of the Belfast Giants.
I used to talk about, while Sis is looking, Phil Sis is looking at his messages from Laura. I remember it used to, when this first started, who was it? You and Fish?
Me and Aaron.
And I had an MP3 player that was the size of one AA battery. And I used to download you on my old computer and stick it in and go running with this little gadget, and always wanted to be on it. And I bugged you for a while about being on it. Let me on. Come on, mate. And I went on once, and it was you, me, and Jacko, I think, was the first one I was ever on. And Karen, your wee sister, Karen, she came on and went, it was just like listening to three mates in the pub. You should do that more often. And you invited me back. And then here we are, 20 years later. Mad.
Sis has just reached into a bag from the 1994. What the hell's that?
This is my first iPod. When that actually listened to my first episode. It does work, yes. My first episode of AVFTB on. And I found I was tidying up some stuff the other day, and I found it at the bottom, and I turned it on, charged it up, and it works absolutely brilliant. So first
I've
AVFTB
got
thing.
one of those first gen iPods, but like the charger's about this size. He's like,
Here, do you know what? I would say I would give it away, but I think it's probably worth a few. Look, see, it's working. It actually has some videos on it of Jasmine when she was a toddler, which I don't know, because I'm not techie, you know that.
No idea how to get them off it.
Those figures? How do I download those videos to get them onto my laptop?
You get a cable.
iTunes, mate. iTunes.
That's it.
Don't know what that means, but I've heard of it. Paddy's your man for Apple stuff.
Listen,
anyway, this podcast going on long enough. Any other business?
Yes, I've got a quiz for you. Not for you two. You got to think of a question, Davey. You gave me a good one last week, but you can basically do this. So I have the stick used by Mark Cavalin on the first night at the Odyssey Arena.
Yes.
It's been sitting above my hot tub in the garden on the shed for a long, long time. I pulled it off the fence the other day, and I'm gonna tape it up new because it's been lying there. You know, it's been outdoor for quite a while. But I'm gonna get Mark to sign it and get it taped up, get Mark to sign it. It's got the Cavalin stamp and all of it down the side. And we'll put a quiz out, and the winner can have the stick. But they have to be able to collect it. None less crap that we're going to post a hockey stick. They've got to be able to collect it from the arena for the winner. Davey, think of a question. It doesn't have to be right now. Stick it out on our socials. Well, you can do it if you want right now. I don't care.
How many pucks did the Belfast Giants use last season?
Do you know the answer?
Nearest person wins. Yeah.
There we go. How many pucks did the Belfast Giants use last season? And the prize is a signed Mark Cavalin stick from season 1. We had Cavi to sign it at the weekend. Fantastic, brilliant. Well, what was Laura asking for me?
I can't remember, mate. I just can't
remember. You're in so much trouble.
It must have been that important, because if it was, I wouldn't have done it.
No.
I'll worry about it tomorrow.
Well, if you remember what it is, we'll stick it out. I'll re-record something and we'll stick it out.
Yeah.
But the season's coming to the summer is coming to an end. Though I'm off to we were talking about the Olympics. I'm off to Paris day after tomorrow. Driving there for the Paralympic Games. Going to go take the kids, go to Paris and have a bit of end of summer, right? It's like 20.
You see Darren Aitchison's post on the comments?
Yeah. We had that. Was it that one there? The see Kitty's iPod and raising account. I think I have one of those badges somewhere. Well, there's a lot of old memorabilia floating around, especially when it comes to all of this. There's been 20 years of this stuff and 25 years of the Belfast Giants. But on that, gents, big thanks to Jordan and to Adam for coming and joining us on this week's first podcast of the new season. Big thanks to you, gents. As I said, the Belfast Giants take part in 2 games out of 3 this weekend. You get on Friday 7 p.m. against Cardiff Ravens, Alberta against Carleton on Saturday at 7, and then the Belfast Giants against Alberta on Sunday at 4 p.m. as they prepare for that start of the new season against Dundee the following week in the Challenge Cup. Mr. Majimsey and Mr. Kitchen, it's good to see you. I'll let you know that this is show 1 of 36. So we've got a long way until April, but the hockey has started. We are underway. The Belfast Giants are out to try to regain the trophies back from the Sheffield Steelers. And no doubt we're in for a lot of excitement in the weeks ahead. You can get us at AVFTB on X/Twitter. You can get us on Facebook, kingdomofgiants.com, and all the usual sort of Instagram. You get us YouTube. I'm not going to have an Orange Club, mate. I'm more of a.
I haven't eaten them, mate. I've still got the 3 of them here for us.
More of a mint club man myself. You get us on Instagram. You get us on YouTube, and all the usual sort of places. And wherever you are this weekend, we hope you enjoy your hockey. And we'll catch you here next time on A View from the Bridge.
Still you